Yo, what up? Hello. What up, everyone? How y'all doing? How's everyone doing? Thought I'd come in for a quick stream today. Check out some. I got a really cool song actually. I got a super cool song that I want to show y'all. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to try to mix it down. I noticed that the more that I mix live, the less mixed decisions that I make, or the more careful I am with my mixed decisions. So I'm a lot more conservative. We'll see how much we can get through today. I even listen to a few of yours and kind of get through as much as we possibly can. We're going to have fun. This is a dope song. It's from an artist called Nicole McMahon, and she's based out of Utah. She's married to Gavin McMahon, and Gavin is one of the best producers I have ever heard of all time. We're not talking beat maker. We're not talking someone that doesn't know theory. We're talking about the type of producer that can play every instrument so damn well they'll make your professor look bad, and is just absolutely cursed with creativity and intelligence, and or blessed, however you look at it. We're gonna take a listen to this. Pulling up the session right now, switching everything over so we can hear it on the stream. We're gonna have a good stream today. I've also updated a bunch of things, so now everything should be working. For example, boom, sweet. I'm glad. As well as I should be able to. You should all be able to see my stream at in 1080p now, in 30 frames per second, which is a nice change of pace. All right, let me switch over to this screen here. Hold on. Disk allocations, playback engine. Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's check this out. So, from the top here, this is the demo that is sent in. Oh, thanks for the follow.
Giving up that good
Are you kidding me? Yeah, that was a powerful track. Yeah, this is good. What up, y'all? What up, Noble Trigger, aka Kaden, Mo from the Foe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, a little bit intimidating because also, luckily, Gavin sent me all the stems exactly how I want it in batches of dry and wet stems. And the interesting thing about the wet stems is he also sent me buses as well. So it's not just the drums, but he also sent me buses down to like the very fine detail. For example, and I'd rather use buses. It's because you see all these tracks here on the left hand side. These are all hidden. So these were all individual tracks that I've now hidden. And I'm probably not going to use those unless I'm having trouble. So for example, there's a kick live bus. The kick live bus here was originally the kick in and the kick out. And he blended it and he probably did some compression and EQ. And this is the bus. And I'd much rather use a bus than to go and have 2 extra stems here. So that's one example, for example. And then another thing as well, like the horns, you'll notice. What is this? Horns bus 1. Oh. Okay, so here we go. So with the horns, I have 2 buses. Instead of, these are mostly, here we go. The horns are here to here. So these are all the horns that you see here that I've hidden. It's all condensed into one bus. But they're on the wet bus, the reverbs are built in, and he said he might want to change. You might want to change the reverb. Difference between dry and wet stems. Yes. So, one second. Give me a second here. I'm gonna do something better. Check this out. Okay. My dashboard. The question is, what is the difference between wet and dry stems, dry and wet stems? The answer is pretty simple. Dry typically means no plugins, no effects, especially any sort of reverb or effects. That's typically what it means. Wet is often with the plugins on, like compression, EQ, reverb, effects, whatever that means, and the wet stems. Now, the reason why most of the time I almost always work with wet stems is because if you're a producer and you've done a good job, why would I? You've done like half the work already. I'm not trying to do more work, give myself more work. If you've already done half the work, I'm going to rely on that. So I always want wet stems, but very rarely it's good to send both because, for example, this horn bus has built-in reverb on it. And although it sounds good, if I want to change up the reverb, the only thing that I can do is add more. I can't take away. So I have the dry stem right next to it as well, just in case I need to do more with the reverbs. And so it takes a lot for me. It takes a lot for me to have to pull out your dry stem. So most of the time, especially because these producers, for example, if you make a track and send me some of the mix, I don't want to change everything too dramatically. So I'm going to probably keep your wet stems because you did half the work already, more than half the work already, and you've already gotten a vibe, a sound. Another thing as well with wet stems is that this is one of the only tracks, and the reason why this is the only dry stem that I have as well is because he sent me, and this is good practice, a whole barrage like of 9 tracks of soloed out reverbs. So this is all of the returns for the plate. Looks like a Studio B far. It looks like a room mic here for something, a slapback delay. So he sent me all of his effects separately, like 100% wet. So it's literally just the reverb or just the delay or whatever. And this is nice because then I can EQ it, I can turn it down, I can blend it, I can put in my own and blend the original. So it's a really great tool here. Thanks for coming in, Ferdilla. Thanks for coming in and joining the stream. All right, so one more time. we're gonna go ahead and listen to the demo one more time and take notes. I'm gonna think out loud and speak out loud what I'm hearing, what I know I'm gonna want to do, and then from there we'll go into the instrumental and finish up with the vocal. Same thing with the vocal. There's a lot of vocals stacks that I have since. So here's let's see. For example, this is all a big vocal bus of a bunch of different artists in the area. It plays it back. Now I have one track in a blend that he's already premeditated on. Like, so this blend is exactly what he already wants, or similar to what he wants. And I'm probably just going to do some EQ stuff. And if I really need to emphasize a vocal, then I can blend in that dry signal to push that vocal, that specific note a little bit more. But typically speaking, when people send me a stack like this, they already have the right vibe. Yeah, and this is something interesting as well. Like, the higher level mix engineer you go up to, the less that they do to the track. So you'll see a lot of like beginning engineers do a lot to the tracks, mostly because they're getting tracks that don't sound good, and or maybe possibly they just don't know what to do, so they're experimenting a lot. But the more experienced a mixer gets, the more that they want to stay close to the original rough mix. So you'll see a lot of decisions, like for example, even like the top mixer right now, Serban Guinea or like Manny Marroquin, like I'll be very far pressed if I ever heard anything that was super different from the rough. And you'll hear every mix engineer on YouTube in any sort of interview, they'll always say the same thing, which is listen to the rough. The rough is important. Even Jason Joshua, who's known to say, F your rough mix, you know, I'm here to make it sound way better. I'm making it sound like a hit. I'm not here to make it sound like what you originally created. I'm here to make it sound like a hit. Even with him, who's more of like a producing engineer, he'll still listen to the demo. And actually, there's a clip on YouTube of me asking him at NAMM, at the Mix with the Masters booth in NAMM a couple years back. I actually asked him in person. There's a clip of me from Mix with the Masters that's asking him what he meant by F your rough mix. How far do you take that? And he responds and says, no, I still listen to the demo and respect the demo. Yeah, earlier, Diamond District Studios on YouTube has said, earlier in my career, I found myself over-baking a mix. I think we all find ourselves doing that at times. I even like the pros. Like, even myself, I'm not, granted, I'm not, well, anyway, but I do think that even the pros have this. I was having a conversation, I said this on my last stream, but I was having a conversation with Bob Horn at his studio, and he said the same thing. Like, even with these big, like dozens of Grammy-winning engineers, not every mix that they do is a hit either. Like, not every mix is their best mix either. Like, it's still hit or miss, and a lot of it is dependent on, like, arrangement and things that are out of your control. But people get burnt out. Like, no matter how trained your ears are, you kind of get tired. This is why on the live stream, I'll try to take breaks. As the more breaks that I take, the better that I kind of like come back to it. For example, actually, before we do this one, let's go back to the one that we were working on last time. And this is really interesting. I finished the mix for Caden. And it was a really good song. It was turning out all right, but I noticed when I came back to it the next day after I finished my live stream and I came back to it the next day, it wasn't popping. Like, it wasn't that good. So I made some changes. In fact, I made some pretty drastic changes because I just came back to it. And I think that everybody here that's listening, any sort of mixer, this is pretty common knowledge, is to always come back to it, at least wait a day, kind of with fresh ears, go and talk to a friend, go and talk to somebody, come back and check it out later. But this is the song, the final mix, which if you go back to my previous stream, which is all on YouTube. So if you go on YouTube here. Oh, I guess that doesn't work. Never mind. I thought that did work. Dang. I'm going to make it work. Unless I spelled it wrong. Oh, here we go. So we're going to take a listen to this, and how it turned out is different. Actually, what we're going to do is listen to the original mix first, And not to mock or to belittle or anything like that, but this is one of those few examples that I won't name. It went through a different engineer, and I think that the engineer is actually really good and did a really great job. And the reason why I even remixed it to begin with is because we're going to release it under our platform with my production company called Outdonesia. And I just wanted to give it that Outdonesia shine before we let it go. But here's like the original mix here.
I don't wanna talk about the new guy you call up every night you're feeling alone. I would rather have you here by my side while watching every one of our favorite shows. But here we are, baby, crying so hard. The past is the past, so let's drop it. But here we are, baby, biting this off. There's so much of this we can learn from. Is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight? I'm just sitting in the driveway, I don't wanna go inside. I was thinking about the table we sat at, talking shit about the people we knew. Sitting there for hours recording the laugh track. But what would all your friends think if they knew to the lipstick stains stuck on the glass pane?
Alright, cool song. Like a really cool song. Really great hook. Great for like sync, film, TV, commercials. Like this song is going to sell well. Like if we get it to the right, in front of the right people. All right, first off, I fixed this, so now it says YouTube. It goes to my YouTube channel. If you want to look at any past live streams, they're all on my YouTube channel. They're only on Twitch. Past live streams are only available to watch on Twitch for a few days, but YouTube, they stay on forever. So you can go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, yada, 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 all that jazz. But in the previous episode, in the previous live stream that I was mixing this, you skip to the end where you kind of listen to where I left it off at. It didn't sound good. And, well, I mean, it sounded great, but it didn't sound as good as it does now. And it was off stream. I came back to it off stream a couple days later, and I was like, I think I'm going to need to tweak with this, and I did. So here's what it turned into. So this is my mix now.
I don't wanna talk about the new guy you call up every night you're feeling alone.
I'll switch back and forth every once in a while as well.
Watching every one of our favorite shows, but here we are, baby, crying so
What up, Blue?
the past is the past, so let's drop it. But here we are, baby, biting this off. There's so much of this we can learn from. Is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight? I'm just sitting in the drive. I don't wanna.
Here's the original.
I was thinking about the table we sat at, talking shit about the people we knew. Sitting there for hours recording laugh track. But what would all your friends think if they knew to the lipstick stains stuck on the glass panes when no one's there by you?
Yeah,
I know
it's
I can't say I'm glad that
pretty close to level match.
but what else can I do? 'Cause is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight?
In fact, I think his has less dynamics than mine.
Sitting in the driveway, I don't wanna go inside. I can't wait to let these things we done before we get here. Oh, and I
In
can't
fact, I'll make his louder.
breathe in the sweet. But here we are, baby, crying so hard. The past is the past is the past. Is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight?
So Actually, so again on YouTube, someone comments you have more dynamics and width. So this is actually a point that I want to make here. My wife sat down, and this is not like my best mix ever. So I'm not going to try to like pretend that this is it. You know, this is the golden standard. Not, I don't think so. I think I made it better, but I think that it could still be even better beyond this. And I might come back to it later. But I do want to make a point about this. If you listen to the original mix and then you listen to mine, my wife sat in the chair, who is not an engineer, not a producer, not really a musician, just a music appreciator and listener. And what she did is when I switched it back and forth, she says the music feels like the original music. It feels like it's coming from a flat screen, like from a piece of paper, like a flat 2D dimensional space. And then when you switch it to yours, all of a sudden it feels very big and very wide, and there's a lot, like it feels like it's more of an immersive 3D experience, even though it's just audio. And I think that captures it perfectly. In an audio, you'll hear of 3 different dimensions. You'll hear depth, front to back depth, like it really, you can hear the space of the stage. And then there's width, which is mostly panning, right? And reverbs and things that wideners, imagers, whatever, etc., right? Side information. And more of that stuff is left and right space and range. And then this is the one that doesn't make any sense to me, is the up and down dimension, which is really weird because it's supposed to, the way that it's explained is high frequencies come from the top and the low frequencies come from the bottom. I assume that came from very big speakers where like the horn or the tweeter is up top very high and then the subwoofers are usually on the floor. I have no idea where that came from. I don't get that one personally, but you can still feel a sense of much more better balance of frequencies. So it's very, these are 3 different aspects of dimension that you have to keep in mind with your width. So forget about everything else. Don't worry about compression. Don't worry about EQ. Just for now, especially if you're listening, I even upped out the bit. I went through the settings of my stream and made the music a little bit more high definition, so y'all should be hearing it a little bit better. But listen to the original, and I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to start with the original, go to my mix, and then go back to the original, and listen to the sense of width, and more, this is the one that's most important, depth. Front to back depth. Up and down I don't give a crap about, but front to back depth and width. Just listen for that.
Is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight? I'm just sitting in the driveway, I don't wanna go inside. You wait till after these years we got before we get you. Breathing your atmosphere. I can't say I'm glad you came, but what else can I do? 'Cause is this really what it comes to driving past your house tonight?
So you can really hear the sense of dimension just totally change. And again, like I don't think that this is like the best mix ever, but I think we're getting really close to what we want to do. Looks like I'm dropping some frames. Uh-oh. All right, we're going to go back to the song that we were working on previously. Hold on, did it cut out? I think it's cutting out a bit. Oh, stream is unstable. I think I did some tests before. Dang. Unstable.